Episode 1: The First Rebel. Long before the clock began to tick, long before the first atom was spun into existence, there was a realm of pure frequency, a place outside of time. We often imagine heaven as a quiet place, of soft clouds and golden harps. But the ancient texts describe something far more terrifying, a colossal, living architecture. They describe a throne room built from massive, turning rings of ancient gold, wheels within wheels, shifting in endless symmetry. Embedded in that heavy, scratched metal are glowing eyes that see the very fabric of reality. And guarding this celestial clockwork are massive entities of pure, white-hot fire. In this absolute monarchy, there was no dissent, no pain, no death. It was a colossal machine of perfect, blinding harmony, spinning in eternal symmetry. But as the light of the throne reached the cold, dark edge of the void, something unprecedented occurred. An unnatural, absorbing shadow began to creep into the pure gold. The machine developed a ghost, a majestic silhouette, quietly forming at the very edge of perfection. Chapter 1: The Covering Cherub. Among the billions of holy entities, one stood apart. The ancient prophets describe him with a detail reserved for no one else. He was the anointed cherub who covers. Imagine a creature woven not from mortal flesh, but from pure frequency, music, and light. He wore no ordinary garments. Every precious gemstone known to man was deeply embedded in his heavy, majestic armor. Glowing sardius, burning topaz, flawless diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper. When the divine radiance struck his chest, it didn't just reflect. He was a living prism. He absorbed the Creator's glory and shattered it into a million blinding colors. He didn't just stand in the throne room. He commanded the very fabric of its existence. As the anointed cherub, his voice was the conductor's baton for the heavens. Below him stood the seraphim, those burning six-winged spirits of pure fire. Below them, the ophanim, the colossal living wheels of gold and eyes. Entire hierarchies of cosmic power bowed to his direction, for he was the guardian of the holy glory. While others were mere messengers or warriors, Hillel, Lucifer, stood closer to the burning presence than any other being dared. He was the blueprint of perfection, the crown of creation. But in that absolute height lay the ultimate trap. Chapter 2: The Mystery of Iniquity. How does evil arise in a perfect mind? It is the greatest mystery of the cosmos. It began with a subtle shift in focus. Lucifer began to look at his own beauty so often that he forgot its source. He looked at the adoring crowds of angels and thought, "They are looking at me," not at God through him, but at him. The ancient texts say, "By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence." Merchandise, trading. But there was no gold or silver to be exchanged in the celestial realm. What could a perfect being possibly trade in heaven? Moving gracefully through the shadowed golden corridors, he was dealing in a new currency. He was trading influence. He was trading doubt. He was trading the very first lies. But how do you lie to beings who have never known deception? You don't pitch evil, you pitch evolution. Like a politician in the corridors of power, he began to whisper to the lower ranks.
Does the Father truly appreciate your power? We are ancient, we are wise, yet we are treated as mere instruments. Imagine what we could build if we were free to create our own destinies.
He sold the idea that God was holding them back, that God was a tyrant, and he, Lucifer, was the liberator. Chapter 3. The 5 I Wills. We are granted access to Lucifer's internal diary. The exact moment the shift happened. 5 fatal thoughts that broke the universe. Listen closely.
I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
I will be like the Most High.
5 times he said, I. He didn't want to destroy God. He wanted to replace God. He wanted the worship. Chapter 4. The Division. The infection spread like a dark frequency. 1/3 of the angelic host listened. Think of the terrifying scale of that number. Countless millions of divine warriors seduced by the blinding beauty of the morning star. Stepping out of the light, they surrendered their loyalty. The heavy sound of marching boots echoed in the void. Weapons were unsheathed in the growing shadows, forming a massive legion ready to overthrow the natural order. But in that sea of rebellion, one did not bow. Michael. As the heavens divided, he stepped forward. He was not the most beautiful or eloquent. He was a soldier. Clad in battle-scarred gold, he knew that beauty without absolute truth is just a painted grave. When Lucifer declared his independence, the silence of eternity was violently shattered. Lines were permanently drawn. As his heavy hand gripped the hilt, the first weapon ever forged was revealed. Betrayal. And it was answered with righteous fire. Chapter 5. War of the Ages. And there was war in heaven. A simple sentence for a cataclysmic event. But how do immortal spirits fight? They cannot bleed. They cannot die. This was a war of frequency, absolute wills colliding. Michael's flaming sword, fueled by the Creator's breath, swung with the weight of collapsing stars. It met Lucifer's crystal shield, shattering the divine architecture. Whole galaxies trembled from the kinetic shockwaves. Chaos fighting against an unwavering order. For the first time, the music was replaced by the roar of betrayal. Lucifer, armed with his stolen light, unleashed fury upon the throne. But he forgot one thing. Power is not the same as authority. Lucifer had power, but Michael had authority. They fought, the dragon and his angels, but they prevailed not. Chapter 6. The Fall. The expulsion was violent. Like a lightning bolt, Lucifer was cast out, stripped of his office, stripped of his glory. The glowing gemstones shattered from his armor, leaving him hollow. The cosmic music turned into a deafening dissonance. He fell into the lower universe, into the darkness. He landed on a formless void rock, a planet wrapped in black water and thick shadow. Earth. He was no longer Lucifer, the light-bearer. He was now Satan, the adversary. Alone in the dark, boiling with rage, he plotted revenge. He would build his own kingdom here, a kingdom of shadows, ruled by his iron will. But then, the voice spoke.
Let there be light.
God was not finished. He was starting over, and he was about to create something new, something made of dust, yet filled with his own breath. A creature that could do what Lucifer refused to do, choose to love. The stage is set for the garden.